Hey everybody, welcome back to Hardworking Man. Today it's one of your favorite episodes. It's an auction find or Facebook market find or both. It's up to you to let us know, are these a deal or should he have left it behind? So as you know, Heath is nothing but impulsive when it comes to buying things off auction sites and Facebook Marketplace. I am not so fond of his purchases. Typically, I think they're trash, but that's my opinion. It's up for you to tell him, should he stop the madness? Does he need to keep buying all of this junk that we don't have anywhere to put? Because let's be honest, we don't have a pole barn. We could use a pole barn, but I'm afraid he would probably fill it up with Facebook Marketplace and auction finds. So let's show you what he's so proud of. I'm sure you're thrilled.
All right, guys, let me show you what I got, and you be the judge. Did I get a deal or no deal? All right, so the first thing I got today came off Facebook Marketplace, and I believe Rachel said I'm somewhat impulsive. This was 100% impulsive. It is a Wright power saw, and I saw this thing. It obviously doesn't work. You can hear it rattling around. But, I mean, this thing, I was like, that's pretty sweet. I've never seen anything like it. This is what they used to make firewood with, I believe. I could be completely wrong. Let me know in the comments if I am. But I thought, this thing's nuts. It was $19. I gave the guy $20. I was so happy to get such a great deal on an old rusty piece of scrap metal. But this thing actually, let me show you. When you pull it over, that chain, well, it's not a chain. It's like a reciprocating saw. Like this thing, well, now the rewind. Oh, there we go. Like, this thing has compression, and if you knew what you were doing, you maybe could make it work again. But I just thought, you know what? I got a firewood channel. I like chainsaws. I don't have anything like this. And after I bought it, I was like, why the heck did you buy that? But I told the guy I'd take it as soon as I saw it, and I'm a man of my word. So even though later I second-guessed myself, I still bought it. So this is Facebook deal number 1 off Marketplace. What do you guys think on the Wright saw? $20, deal or no deal? So next we have an online auction buy. This was from the other side of the state. I bought this probably 6 to 8 months ago. My dad picked it up for me because he's an enabler, and I was just able to get over there and pick this stuff up. $160 for all of this. I was like, how can you possibly go wrong? These little wagons are around $100 plus, and we use our Gorilla card all the time. So I was like, I can't miss with this, right? I bought this all for one thing, and the rest is just a bonus or I guess more stuff to store. But you can see it sitting there in the wagon. We'll get to that last. So let's see what I got. So in that lot, it was a restaurant that went out of business. So I'm not sure why they even had this stuff, except maybe just like maintenance around the property. But I'd have no idea if this thing runs. It's one of the walk behind push weed trimmers. I've had these before, and I actually have sold them. They sell for pretty good money. There's no gas in this right now, but it does pull over. I guess we could maybe give it a shot of ether and throw some fuel in it and see if I can get it to fire. The oil looks fairly clean. I have to think this thing probably runs, because why would they keep this at a restaurant if it didn't run?
I just want to know what weeds you think you're trimming, because I've yet to see you do that at our house.
I said I might sell it. It came in a lot with something else that I really wanted.
Yes, more things to store. Next.
So later on in this video, I'm going to throw some gas in that and get a can of ether if I have one, and see if I can get that thing to at least fire, so we have a better idea if it was a deal or no deal. But this lot also came with this stuff. A lot of sandpaper, which, I mean, this stuff isn't cheap, and I do have a belt sander that this will fit on. You can never have enough of it, right? I'll throw this in one of my file cabinet drawers in the garage. So that alone, I mean, I'll need it eventually, right? So I got some sandpaper. I haven't even gone through this, to be honest. More sandpaper. An owner's manual for a Predator power washer that I didn't get, but I did get a weed trimmer. There's a tool shop sander, which probably explains some of the sandpaper. I don't know what this even is. Looks like a tool kit. a scrunch, toolkit for something, either the power washer or the weed trimmer, a Voodoo Ranger IPA tap handle. If anyone's interested in that, let me know in the comments. I really have no use for it. Some more sandpaper.
That's probably worth like $1,000.
An atomic fireball.
Oh, I haven't seen those in ages.
What do you guys think?
Who wants one?
I'm
Oh,
gonna give her a try.
oh no.
Look at this thing. It's like a small planet.
Oh, Lordy. Go
Ready?
ahead. How's she taste? Oh, don't break your teeth.
Tastes like it's probably about 20 years old. You gotta try it, right? How else do we know if I got a deal or not?
Oh, don't choke on it.
Oh, it looks fresh now.
Yeah, cute.
I'm gonna get rid of that. Give me a second.
No one wants to see your chewed on candy.
All right, the rest of this bucket is just a bunch of nuts and bolts, except there's this, a Grand Armory bullet shell, which I wonder if it's a tap handle as well. It is threaded on the bottom, so maybe 2 tap handles, some sandpaper, a junk sander, a bunch of other junk. But now, why I bought this entire lot. Let me show you what it is. This is something I've always wanted. I don't necessarily want any more because I now have a ported Echo CS2511, which is an awesome little 25cc saw that's quite a bit lighter than this. I also have that bad boy 30cc saw. They're not top handle, but they're so light you can, against recommendations, run them with one hand. But this was in this lot. Like I said, I bought it like 8 months ago. It's an Echo CS330T. It's a top handle saw. Again, why does a restaurant have this? I don't know. I saw it, the chain was loose. I think that's part of, you know, when they put this picture, it was just like this. An ugly saw with a loose chain. A little beat up, but didn't look terrible. I have to say, now seeing it in person, it's a lot more beat up than I expected. A lot of it's just dirt and grime, but you can see the nuts here are like completely stripped. The chain is super loose, which could be whatever. The chain brake doesn't appear to function. I'm gonna throw some gas in this, see if we can get it to fire. Then I'll pull this cover off and see why the chain brake isn't doing anything. There's some weeds in there, so they used it as a weed trimmer. So this again was online auction. I got one more to show you from the auctions, and then I'm gonna show you the biggest purchase, the Facebook Marketplace potential jackpot. So just like the weed trimmer, I'm gonna throw some fuel and oil in this and see if we can get it to fire up later on in this episode. So, $160. I got the Echo top handle saw, I got the weed trimmer, I got the wagon, and a bunch of junk. What do you guys think on that one? Deal or no deal? All right, here it is, the last online auction purchase of this episode. This was $5. It came from a county parks sale, and they said that it doesn't run. It's no Buffalo turbine blower like Mike Morgan or Doug from One Eyed Customs has, but it's the poor man's version, $5. You can see it needs a tire, or at least a tube. It does turn over. The throttle's free. I mean, it's got a Briggs & Stratton 10-horse engine on it. So, I mean, worst case scenario, I can put a new engine on this and have a...
Oh my gosh, you are never gonna do that.
Well, hopefully this one can get running. We'll see, is there any...
I'll give somebody $5 to come take it.
No, you will not. Stop it. A little bit of varnishy gas in there. Some old dirty oil, but there's oil, so that's good. It does have compression. It turns over. So what is this? Giant vac, walk behind leaf blower. I have a plan for this, and I figured at $5, how can you possibly go wrong, right, Rachel?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think on the giant vac leaf blower? $5, a 10-horse Briggs. They say it doesn't run, but you know how county parks places can be. I pulled it a few times, it didn't fire. Or it could be junk. I don't know if it has spark or not. Again, later on in this video, we're gonna throw some fuel in it, a little bit of ether, and see if we can at least get it to fire. So what do you guys think on the $5 giant vac? I think it was like $7 with the auction fees. Deal or no deal? All right, so far this has been a fairly inexpensive episode. That's all about to change. This is by far the most expensive risk I took in this video. It was a Facebook Marketplace find. The one Rachel mentioned the other day when we were doing the leaf blower test video, and she said I was on my way to get a Facebook Marketplace find. This was it. I thought it was such a great deal. I was at the guy's house when he got home from work to buy it. It wasn't quite what I expected. Let me move the Coyote out of the way and show you the brand new Kubota. Here it is. It's a Kubota BX 1500 four-wheel drive lawnmower tractor, diesel powered, 54-inch deck. They posted this thing up for $3,500, and right away I was like, bam, I gotta have it. I gotta buy it. They said the fluids were changed in the hydraulics with new filters. They said everything works good and that it was in good shape. So I was like, I gotta be there when this guy gets out of work. I got there, and there were a few things I found that weren't quite what I was hoping for. Let me show you a few of the issues. Now, first off was the seat. I saw the seat cover on it, so when I got there, I said, hey, how's the seat? Is it destroyed under there? He said, no, it had a little tear in it. So I pulled the cover off. I'm like, oh, so this is what we do. A little tear, right?
A tear in the duct tape?
Just,
what is he talking?
Then they just completely reupholstered it in duct tape. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have to make sure to take a closer look at everything on this tractor before just getting excited and handing over $3,500. So that was the first thing. So obviously, most important, does this thing run? Does it move? Let's see. So he just jumped on it and cranked it. It was a cooler day like it is today. He didn't let the glow plugs warm up at all, which I don't know if they do or not because there's no light. So is the light burned out? Do the glow plugs not work? I don't know, but he said he put a new starter on it because it didn't start very good. And you can see, I'm not sure the glow plugs are working. I'm going to have to test the glow plugs, test the glow plug controller, and it's not turning over very fast. So it did start decently when he showed me it, and it wasn't warmed up because I was there before he got home from work. So let's see if we can get this bad boy to go. All right, so the battery I think is too weak. He said he changed the starter, which looks like maybe it was a battery issue. I got a solution for this because all my jump packs are gone in other people's cars because I give them to my kids. But I got something else that another viewer shared with me, and I want to see if it works. I've never used it before. Now, this isn't a commercial. This is something I bought, and I'm curious if it works or not. It is a jumper cable kit that hooks to a Milwaukee battery. I was like, I think it was 30 or 40 bucks. I'll put a link in the description. But I was curious if it worked. The viewer that sent this to me, I believe, was Alex Armga, and he used his to jump a diesel truck, which I thought was crazy. I've never used this, never tried it, but this will be the perfect opportunity. I was thinking of pulling the Coyote up and jumping it or using a vehicle since my jump packs are gone right now. But then I remembered I bought this a couple months ago and never tested it, so let's see if it works. All right, so before I tell you what I settled on paying for this, and I caused a little bit of a rift between the husband and wife who were selling it. More on that story later, but let's see if and how this works. So we will hook these clamps up. And I imagine this battery has 2 bars. I imagine they make these for Dewalt and other battery packs. It's definitely clicking a lot faster. I don't know if maybe that'll make the glow plugs heat up because like I said, there's no indicator light. But that sounds a lot better. Definitely more promising. Maybe it's just a bad battery or bad battery connection. That battery looks pretty old. Come on, girl. There we go. So I don't know if it's a 2-cylinder diesel, so I think it's probably going to be a little bit rougher than a more-cylinder diesel, if that makes sense. If you turn this way down, so I don't know if that's an adjustment, but it does that even after it's warm. Now he said until it warms up, a lot of times it'll quit, like stall out. And he thought it was a fuel filter, so he changed one fuel filter. He said there's two. I hadn't really checked on it, but I think he might have been wrong about what's causing it to stall, and I realized it when I was unloading it from the trailer. I'll show you what that is, and it's something I would have taken care of anyways. So we'll pop the hood open here. The fluids were good. Air filter, I didn't take it open to clean it, but it has coolant in it. The oil was good. The hydraulic fluid, he said he changed not too long ago, and that looked full and clean. All right, I'm gonna pull it up onto the driveway real quick to test the mower blade function, show you what I found there, and then show you one of my most concerning problems. So there it is. But if you put it back in neutral, it comes right back to life. So that makes me believe it's the seat switch or some sensor, because when you go to move it, if you were to get off the seat with it in high or low, it'll stop. The pedal also sticks. Back to neutral, and I think it's the seat switch. I hope it's the seat switch. It's like you get off it, but then you can keep it running when it's in gear. If it's in neutral, there's no issue. And that makes me believe it just has a faulty seat switch on it, which you know I'm going to bypass anyways. So, I'm going to engage the mower blades here. And they didn't do anything. Oh, there they go. So the mower works, and it raises and lowers with the 3-point PTO arms. So that's good. My top link has fallen down, but when I went to test if the mower worked, and you pull it to where it should be working and engage it, it didn't really want to work a lot of times, and you had to slam that back. But the more I messed with it, I realized when it's in the full forward position, there's a lot of travel left, and then it's the middle and then the back. But I think it's missing one, because it goes back and hits, and he would go like that, and then it would work. So I'm thinking that's an adjustment. Let me shut this thing off and show you guys the rest of the story. So besides the running, the overall condition of it, this thing is covered in goat crap. It's covered in just dirt and debris. They said wherever they were done using it, that's where they let it sit. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up. It should look a lot nicer than it does. But when I went to check the front differential oil, it was pretty much bone dry. So I've been adding some gear oil, and I add some hub stop leak to it just to see, you know, if it would rejuvenate a seal. I think I'm in deeper than that. So this is where the front center of that axle was sitting, and clearly the stop leak didn't work. This is why it was low or empty on fluid, which sort of concerned me, but I didn't see any metal shavings or grinding in there. So I think the front diff is still good, but we're gonna have to fix this leak before we can seriously use that machine. It's gonna replace the Kubota G5200 that I bought in a different auction for $150, I believe it was. That thing, I was using it to roll the yard earlier this year. I came in for dinner, went back out, and it just wouldn't move. I haven't messed with it since, but I wanted a 4-wheel drive. I wanted one that could also mow. This is a newer, supposed to be better tractor. It's got the 3-point, it's got all that. So I was like, I can replace maybe a 4-wheeler and the G5200 with this new BX1500. All right, so we've got the front axle issue. The 4-wheel drive does work. I did test that to make sure the 4-wheel drive still engaged and worked, and that was good. We've got the front axle leaking issue and the low fluid. We've got the stalling issue. We've got the mower deck engagement issue. We've got just the pure dirtiness in the seat of it. That's not a big deal. The hydrostat pedal is pretty stiff, and it sticks wherever you leave it. So if you're going forward and you take your foot off, it should stop. It doesn't. You have to try to balance it back to the middle. So that's hopefully either going to be this pivot point or there's a pivot point in the back. We'll address that in a future episode.
It's probably full of goat crap.
Here, take a look at this. When I said there's goat, it might be rabbit crap, but they had goats. They had all kinds of farm animals. But, I mean, there's turds all over it, just like my conveyor. There is just, you know, debris. I guess if you look under the seat, you can see, I don't know if this was a mouse house. Like, oh, I just touched them turds. It clearly, it needs some cleaning up. It needs some work. They were asking $3,500 for this tractor. I ended up getting it for $3,000, and I got a pair of rear tire chains. The wife was not happy. She said, "You are not selling that for $3,000. She stormed off. I pulled out the cash. Cash is king. $3,000 Kubota BX 1500 diesel 4-wheel drive lawn mowing tractor. What do you guys think? Deal or no deal? All right, let's throw a little bit of rec fuel in the Craftsman Weed Whip and see if we can get it to fire. I'm not going to try to get it running correctly. I'm just curious if it'll go at all. Then we'll try the leaf blower and then the chainsaw, and you guys can give us your final thoughts on all these amazing finds. Oh!
Are you leaking?
It appears we have a slight fuel leak, which might be why it was empty.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to try to start it anyway. Little ether, couple pumps on the primer. I don't know that it's getting any fuel. That fuel line leaking could have something to do with it. So this is definitely going to be a project. A little more ether. See if she'll go.
It's literally dripping.
All right. So not looking great for me so far. Let's try that leaf blower. All right, learning from the last one, I'm going to put even less fuel in this in case this one is leaking as well. I'm hoping that fuel line is just from sitting, probably with some non-rec fuel in it, and ate that fuel line. That's why I use rec fuel. I believe that is on. That is probably choke. Let's see what we got. It's not looking.
When you ask me why your back is sore tomorrow, I'll tell you from trying to start all these hunks of crap you've got.
It's not looking so great for me right now. All right, I'm not gonna mess with these too much. Let's see if at least the chainsaw will start. So far, it's looking like Rachel might be more right than I am. The walk of shame. All right, I am not even gonna mess with bar oil because if I get this thing to run at all, I'm not gonna be running it, and it's not looking too great right now. They gotta give me one. I gotta get one, right, guys? If you guys could see Rachel's disappointment on her face right now. Why don't you spin the camera around and show them how thrilled you are with all my finds?
Right. Well, it's nothing new.
Look at this. It even has a lanyard on it for when I'm tree climbing.
Yeah, perfect. Start her up.
Oh, you have little faith. I do not see a primer bulb. Chain brake, as we showed, is irrelevant. Choke is on. Oh. Whoa!
Oh.
Come on, girl. Oh yeah. Come on.
Sounds solid.
Now she's got to warm up. You don't race. You don't race a good thing. She sounds a little rattly, doesn't she? Oh. All right, we got one. Sorta. Oh, there. Chain brake. Completely inert. All right, we got one running. It clearly needs some work, and we'll dig into all these projects more in future Hardworking Man episodes. But you need to let us know, overall, deal or no deal, marketplace or online auctions for the win, or am I just a loser? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.